Hi, this is Dan Donovan, Director of Operations and Digital Marketing for Max Effect Marketing again. And we're back with our July reputation management video. And this is based on the topic of phone etiquette for conversions. And really, what this topic is etiquette for admins, front desk staff, follow up staff on how they should interact with clients, some tricks to getting higher conversions, and some things not to do. So let's get to it. So first, we have preparation. So whoever you have as a phone admin, you want them to be up to date on their current marketing campaigns. I cannot tell you how many times we have listened to a phone call through our call tracking system only to find an admin not knowing of the service that the clinic was offering or the business was offering. It is very important as your first line of contact that your front desk staff, your admins, are up to date on what the current marketing campaigns are, whether they're consults or events, what the subject matter is, so that they can quickly and effectively get into the conversion part instead of trying to put people on hold or acting like they don't know what they're talking about. And this happens way too frequently, so this is definitely the first thing that we wanted to bring up. Next thing is be knowledgeable about the service or product. Over knowledge is too much. I think the primary thing is you want to get them to come in and you want to leave them wanting more. So you want to get them in for the consultation, but you have to be a little bit knowledgeable about what this service or product that you're offering and marketing for in case people have questions. Now, in my opinion, any technical questions, I would refer them. You will see the doctor in the consult and you can talk to them about that. The best thing is you want to get them in the door, but have some knowledge so that you can help convert that. So the next thing is you want to talk to the person in charge of marketing about what your clinic is offering. Pretty much the same as the first one, but making sure that you're on the same page as far as what the marketing that is being done, be it paper, be it digital through us, but what the clinic is offering, so you're all on the same page. So next thing is answering the phone, just basic stuff. Be friendly and sound enthusiastic. You don't want to be monotone. You don't want to be dull. You want to be friendly. You want to be enthusiastic. And you want to keep the conversation interesting for the person calling in. Be ready to answer questions. Like I said, any technical questions you can pass on to the doctor or whoever's seeing them at the consultation or at the event. But if there are, be knowledgeable on the subject so you can answer questions. Some people need more grooming than others to come in the door. And don't sound like you're reading from a script. Especially, that's more on an outbound call, but you don't want to keep a flat monotone voice. You don't want to sound forced. You want to just be natural. And the more you're on the phone, the more natural you sound, the better conversion rates you're going to get. Before concluding the call, scheduled or registered, ask if they know the clinic's exact location. We see this a lot too when we're listening to recorded calls where, they'll just hang up and then, if that person doesn't turn up, the best way to turn up is make it as simple as possible for them. Make sure they have the address, make sure you reconfirm the appointment time and date, and I also recommend doing a confirmation call the morning of the appointment or event as a reminder. People tend to forget things. So next is statistics about inbound calls. 86% of businesses say calls are the best leads they receive. And from where we stand, that is the easiest thing to do. You don't have to try and get a hold of somebody. You don't have to make any outbound calls. They're calling in from an ad, or they're calling in because they're interested in your business. And so that's the easiest lead that you can close. 71% of mobile searchers make phone calls to businesses. This is a no-brainer. With your mobile device, everybody's searching on their mobile device these days, and all you have to do is hit a button and you can call. It's so much easier to call than to fill out a form on your phone screen. So what we try and do is drive as many phone calls as possible from mobile searchers. The next thing is if you don't have a phone number on your landing page, which if you have your business with us, you will always have your phone number on your landing page, but you're missing out on up to 25% of revenue. You want your phone number on every page. You want it in the header, you want it in the footer, you want it easily accessed so that people can see your phone number and get a hold of you. Here's a few statistics on outbound calls. So when a caller's name is used during a call, they are 2.5 times more likely to buy. So that means a lot of these outbound calls, if you're one of the people that follows up on outbound calls, the main important thing is that when you see the lead in your notification email, you want to call them and say, hey, is this Megan? Or hey, is this Jeff? And call them by name and use their name throughout so you get used to it. But then they'll feel like it's a more personal experience. They'll feel more comfortable with you, and they're more likely to come in. So agents seen as polite. So if you're outbound call and you're being polite, you convert 36% more calls. And I think the bottom line is whenever you're on the phone with a potential buyer, you always need to be polite. There's no reason to not be polite with a potential buyer. This is an amazing stat. Calling a lead within 5 minutes of a form fill versus 60 minutes of a form fill increases conversions by 341%. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is now that we have a system that just emails you immediately, how important it is to just drop what you're doing, pick up the phone, call that lead. You're going to get them in the door a lot quicker and a lot more frequently if you can call them within the first 5-10 minutes. And you can see the statistics are staggering if you wait even an hour. Now we'll talk about, many of you guys are running event campaigns. Let's talk about some of the phone etiquette for event campaigns. First, memorize the details. You want to know the time, date, location, topic, whether refreshments are being served. Basically, you want to know all the information we ask you every time you have an event, because those are the things people are going to ask. They're going to come in, and regardless of what the landing page says, because it has all that information, the ad a lot of times will have all that information. But if somebody's calling in, they want to confirm everything, they want to confirm the date, and they want to make sure they know how to get there. So be willing to give directions, addresses, etc. Always ask them if they want to bring anyone else to the event. A lot of people feel like they click on there, they can go to the event, but they don't feel like they have a free pass to bring whoever they want. Of course, you want people in the door. And I think this is not only important for a more full room, get their wife to come, get their friend, two buddies who both have torn ACLs, have them come in for a stem cell talk or whatever. But I think the other important part is that in a lot of cases, if you have a patient or somebody who's dealing with something like diabetes or somebody who's elderly, you want to encourage them to bring somebody else who's going to make them feel more comfortable, who's going to be able to help them through the process. And I think this helps with conversions very much. Next, obviously no brainer, ask if they know the location of the event. If they don't, be willing to give directions, addresses, etc. And if they can't make it to an event, it's so easy. Just schedule them in for a free consult. One-on-one is much better anyways, and getting people in for a free consult is the best way to do that. So can't make the event? Great. Come in for a consult. Have your own private event with the doctor. He's going to go through everything with your particular case. And I think this really helps using some of that language, customized plans, case specific. Buzzwords like that make people feel comfortable because you're building a plan for their specific condition. Consultation campaigns. Here's a couple of tips for phone etiquette on inbound calls for consultation campaigns. First, emphasize free. If you're giving free consultations, always emphasize free. Free is a buzzword that everyone loves. It's their favorite word. And if you get them in the door, you can let the doctors or whoever's doing the consultation convert them at that point. So emphasize the free. If you don't offer free consultations, then mention that it's a discounted price. So, $300 for a consult, but we'll do it for $50 today or something like that. Once again, confirm the location. We hear a lot of people, we booked in 10 appointments and nobody showed up, or, 5 people showed up. I think part of the reason for that, we're listening, a lot of people aren't confirming that they know how to get to the office, that they know the directions, they know where the location, and a lot of times people will just lose that stuff. And once they lose that stuff, it's difficult to get it back in the ad environment because it's not a guarantee that the ad's going to show to them again before their appointment, or that they'll recognize a different ad for the same clinic before their appointment as well. So make sure you're always confirming that. Explain a good doctor cannot properly examine a patient over the phone. So, we hear this sometimes when we're listening to phone calls as well is, oh, can't I do the consultation over the phone? Never recommend that. First, that's true. If a doctor can't physically examine someone, they can't make a diagnosis. Nobody can make a diagnosis over the phone just by listening to somebody. But the main point is you want them to come into the office. In the office is where you do conversions, not over the phone. And then use this as your line, when you get too many questions, hey, the doctor can go into more detail during a face-to-face discussion when discussing the best treatment plan. And then they can design a customized plan just for your specific condition. Things like that, phrases like that are going to make your conversion rate soar. So here's the next one, follow-up procedure for highest conversion rate. This is for calls as well. So if you're calling... if you have consultations or if you have an event, you're going to call everybody the morning of their consult to confirm their appointment. If they have a consult right in the morning, call them the afternoon before. But we always want a confirmation within less than 12 hours if we can. So it's fresh on their mind. They remember. They remember. You can confirm if they know the location and everything, and it's going to get your show rate up way higher. And that's what one of the most important things is, get people in the office. Same with events. Every single event registry should be called the morning of the event or sometime during the day if it's an evening event. But you want to call every single one, and you'll get much higher turnout rates at events, and you'll get much higher closes, and you'll do much better business. Then using our system, which I've been talking about throughout, which is why we came up with this reputation management topic in the first place, is because we've been listening to so many phone calls. So check Conversa regularly. So daily is recommended. If there's any missed calls on there, calls that are like 8 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, where they have not left a message, then give them a call. It will only come from Conversa if it's from a paid advertisement. So this is somebody looking to buy. So I know, if you don't want to log into another system, that's not a good thing because those are some of those leads people don't want to leave messages. And if you call them back and you call them back diligently, you can get some of those people back in the door. So here's a little bit about Conversa, just in case you're not familiar. And please follow up with our office if you're not familiar with Conversa or if you need a refresher course, because it is an important part not only of our side to track leads, but of your side to perfect the process. Inbound, outbound calls. Inbound calls especially, dealing with customers, making sure your admin staff is up to speed. So let's go through a little of Conversa. So one, make sure that you've done Conversa training with Max Effect and set up an account. Everyone who is listening to this now has a Conversa account and has trained with Max Effect. When you go to Conversa, you're going to see the sidebar column after you log in. You're going to click on Reports, Acquisition, and Call Flow. And then you're going to scroll down the data table. You're going to click your business, and then you're going to be able to listen to all your calls. If some of you are extremely busy, that's fine. It would be useful if you could find someone in your office that can listen to random calls. Just pull random calls that you see that are 3, 6, 10 minutes. You know that there's been a conversation. You see where the mistakes are made, and then you can fine-tune that with the staff, and you're going to get much more conversions. The more you spend on the conversion side, the higher your conversion rate is going to go. Then the next thing, like I just said, make sure your admins are handling all calls correctly. So it records calls, so you use it as a training. It's not just a tool for us, it's also a tool for you, and it will increase your staff's conversion rate exponentially. So the last slide, how to handle common questions and objections. Is it successful? That's a common question. That right there, especially when you're talking about weight loss, stem cells, knee pain, any of that stuff, yes, there's no reason you wouldn't be doing this service if it wasn't successful on people. Have other people tried it? We've emphasized quite a few times with all of our clients that testimonials are key. Testimonials that go on things like Yelp, Facebook, Google reviews. You want to use those testimonials to your advantage. They help your search engine optimization rankings, but they also help your credibility, your digital credibility. So you can send them to your testimonials, or you can send them to your Yelp page if you have successful cases, or you can send them to your video testimonial pages. Do you take insurance? In some cases, obviously, a lot of you do take insurance, and so you want to go through that. Now, for something like stem cells, which isn't covered by insurance, you don't want to take that as a negative. You just explain we offer attractive financing options. And if you don't offer financing options, I understand. However, you are cutting out a portion of your potential buyers at that point. But that's what we like to say is we offer attractive financing options. And because you always want to get that person in the door. Finally, we deal with quite a few Spanish speakers in many of our offices. If you don't have a translator and you're in an area with a high Spanish speaking population, you want to get somebody that can speak English and Spanish. I know it's not the easiest thing to do to find somebody like that or to get rid of staff, but is very useful because there's a lot of Spanish speaking people that are also buyers and users of your service. So that's all for our talk today on phone etiquette, handling inbound and outbound calls. If you have any questions, please reach out to Max Effect Marketing. Thanks again.